My wife, Sue Wan, and I don't have many followers on our Douyin account, but we often post glimpses of our daily life together. Until late one night, a startling comment suddenly appeared in our comment section. Having had her is enough. Accompanying, it was a picture of my wife's sweet sleeping face. It was an unfamiliar bed, an unfamiliar background, and more importantly, the photo was taken 3 days ago while I was away on a business trip. The phone screen glared harshly in the darkness, and my hands trembled slightly. My wife slept beside me, her breathing steady. Looking at her sleeping face, I suddenly felt she was a complete stranger. Perhaps we were no longer familiar with each other at all. I checked the commenter's profile page and found the account was newly registered, with only this single comment. My throat felt dry. I tried to convince myself it was just a prank, but the details in the photo made it impossible to deceive myself. The bedsheet in the picture was light blue, not our style at home, and Sue Wan's sleeping posture was different from usual. She always curls up, but in the photo, she was stretched out. "Honey, aren't you sleeping yet?" Sue Wan's sleepy voice came from beside me. I quickly turned off the phone screen. "Going to sleep now? Just checking work messages. Staying up late again? It's bad for you." She turned over and gently hugged my arm. "Hurry up and sleep." Her body heat radiated from her arm, yet I felt a chill run through me. This gesture once brought me peace, but now it felt like a knife slowly twisting into my heart. I closed my eyes, but my mind was filled with that comment. Having had her is enough. Was it boasting? Was it a provocation aimed at me? I used to think the most terrifying thing in a marriage was suspicion, but now I understand the most terrifying thing is that intuition. The helplessness you feel when all the suspicious points start connecting, when you have no choice but to face the truth. Sue Wan and I have been married for 3 years, known each other for 5. I clearly remember the first time I saw her. She was in a nurse's uniform, taking an elderly person's blood pressure. That smile made me forget I was at the hospital to visit a hospitalized colleague. Later, that smile became mine alone, the morning light I saw every day upon waking. I spoiled her like a princess. As soon as my career took off, the first thing I did was get her a bigger house and let her quit her nursing job to help me manage my short video studio. Our online followers all envied our relationship, calling us a model couple. And I genuinely felt that all my luck in this life was spent on meeting her. But now, I started to wonder if I'd been too naive. The next morning, I went to the studio as usual. Sue once said she was going back to the hospital to visit her former colleagues. I nodded, pretending I knew nothing. As soon as she left, I opened the location tracking app on my phone. This was something we had agreed on. For safety, we both had the tracking app installed on each other's phones. Sure enough, she had indeed gone to the hospital. I sat restlessly in the studio, my mind filled with all sorts of terrible imaginings. Finally, I decided to go to the hospital myself to see. Maybe this would dispel my doubts and prove it was all just my overactive imagination. It was already noon when I arrived at the hospital. Following my memory, I found the internal medicine department where Sue Wan used to work. A few nurses at the nurses' station were very friendly when they saw me and asked if I was looking for Sue Wan. Yes, I wanted to give her a surprise. I forced a smile. Sue Wan just went out for lunch with Dr. Cheng, a young nurse said, then, suddenly realizing something, quickly added, "That's Dr. Cheng E from our department. They've always gotten along well." Cheng E? The name sounded somewhat familiar. I recalled that he seemed to be a colleague Sue Wan used to mention often. He was said to be highly skilled medically, gentle with people, and had an excellent reputation in the hospital. I took out my phone and opened the tracking app. Sue Wan's location showed she was at a coffee shop across from the hospital. I stood outside the coffee shop, and, through the floor-to-ceiling window, clearly saw Sue Wan sitting in a corner with a man in a white coat. They were sitting very close, occasionally whispering something to each other. Sue Wan wore that familiar sweet smile on her face. That smile used to be mine. Now, it had become a sharp weapon piercing me. I took out my phone and quietly took a few pictures. At that moment, I felt like a ridiculous stalker, but I couldn't control myself. I needed proof, needed the truth. Returning home in the evening, Sue Wan was busy in the kitchen. "Seeing me back," she said happily. "I made your favorite braised pork ribs today." I managed a weak smile. "How was the hospital today? Did you see your old colleagues?" "It was good. Everyone misses me," she said while dishing out rice. "Oh, right, Dr. Cheng asked me to help him make a video to promote a new hospital project. What do you think?" My hand paused. "Dr. Cheng." "Yes, Cheng E. I've mentioned him to you before. He's a department head now and wants to do a short video for promotion." Looking at her natural expression, I suddenly felt a wave of nausea. She was always like this, telling lies so seamlessly. Perhaps our marriage contained countless other lies like this. "Okay, when will you shoot it?" I suppressed the turmoil in my heart. Do you need my help? No need. It's very simple, she said quickly. Probably in the next day or two. I nodded and said no more. Dinner was tasteless. She asked me what was wrong, and I said I was tired from work. She considerately massaged my shoulders, telling me not to work too hard. These tender gestures once moved me, but now they felt like daggers stabbing into my heart. In the dead of night, lying in bed, I watched Soo-won sleep. The photo of her sleeping face on that unfamiliar bed flashed repeatedly in my mind. I reached out and gently stroked her face. In her sleep, she nuzzled against my palm. This woman, I love her so much, yet she caused me such agony. Over the next few days, I began to secretly investigate. Using the excuse of being busy with work, I asked my assistant, Little Zhou, to keep an eye on Soo-won's movements. Soon, Little Zhou reported back, saying Soo-won was often seen going in and out of the hospital with that Dr. Cheng. Sometimes they would visit the coffee shop opposite the hospital. Other times they would have lunch together. Boss Lin, are you suspecting? Your wife. Little Zhou trailed off, hesitant. I waved him off. Keep watching. Let me know immediately if anything happens. Around noon that day, Little Zhou suddenly sent a message. Boss Lin, your wife and Dr. Cheng got into a car, heading towards the north side of the city. My heart sank. The north side of the city. That was where Cheng lived. I remembered from looking up his details previously that he owned a high-end apartment there. Follow them, I replied curtly. Half an hour later, Little Zhou sent the location. Sure enough, it was the address of Cheng Yi's apartment building. Staring at the location pin on my phone, I felt my vision blur. I opened Soo-won's location tracking app. It showed she was at the hospital. She must have left her phone there. This oversight, ironically, only confirmed my suspicions. That evening, she came home more than an hour later than usual. She said she was at a dinner with colleagues. Seeing her slightly disheveled hair and clothes, my heart felt like it was being sliced. Hubby, you don't look well today. Are you too tired from work? She asked with concern. I forced a smile. Maybe I'm catching a cold. Feeling a bit unwell. Let me warm up a glass of milk for you then. She turned towards the kitchen. I caught her hand. Wan, do you still love me? She clearly hesitated for a moment, then smiled. What are you talking about? Of course I love you. Then, have you been hiding something from me lately? Her hand trembled slightly, but she quickly composed herself. No, what could I possibly hide from you? I released her hand and turned to go upstairs. I'm a bit tired. I'm going to get some rest. That night, I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. At 3 in the morning, I got out of bed and went to the study. I opened my computer and pulled up the evidence I had recently gathered. Photos, location records, call logs. I discovered that Soo-won's contact with Cheng had become frequent starting half a year ago. Back then, I was busy setting up my new studio and often had to travel for business. Meanwhile, Cheng, seizing the opportunity presented by a hospital project, had gradually insinuated himself into Soo-won's life. I opened Douyin and scrolled through the videos we had posted before. Those sweet daily moments, those loving interactions, they seemed utterly ironic now. In the comments section, fans were still envying our relationship. I couldn't help but laugh, a laugh more bitter than tears. Early the next morning, I hired a private investigator. I needed more conclusive proof. The investigator soon sent back photos. Downstairs from Cheng Yi's apartment building, Soo-won, her arm linked intimately through his. In a hospital storage room, their indistinct forms. In a private room at the coffee shop, their fingers intertwined. The last photo was of Soo-won's peaceful sleeping face, on the bed in Cheng Yi's apartment. The background was identical to the one in that photo from Douyin. I printed the photos and carefully placed them in a folder. At that moment, my heart no longer ached. All that remained was an icy coldness that pierced to the bone. That evening, Soo-won said she had to work overtime at the hospital. I agreed, then quietly followed her. Sure enough, she went straight to Cheng Yi's apartment. I stood downstairs, watching the lights come on the 18th floor, clutching the car key in my hand so tightly I nearly broke it. I called the property management for Cheng Yi's apartment building, claiming to be a friend of his, and asked if they could help deliver something to him. The front desk agreed. I handed the folder containing the photos to the front desk staff. Thank you for your trouble. Please ensure it's delivered personally into his hands. Half an hour later, Soo-won's call came through. I didn't answer. She called again. I still didn't pick up. When the phone rang for the third time, I finally answered. Hubby, where are you? Her voice was tremulous with suppressed sobs. We need to talk. Fine, I said calmly. We'll talk at home. By the time Soo-won returned home, it was late into the night. Her makeup was smudged, her eyes red and swollen. Clearly, she had been crying. I sat on the living room sofa, the coffee table before me strewn with those photographs. Sit. I gestured towards the seat opposite me. She sat down timidly, her eyes falling upon the photos, and tears began to stream down her face again. Husband, I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong. Wrong. I sneered. Wrong for betraying me, or wrong for being found out. I wasn't myself. Something just came over me. She rushed over, clinging to my leg. Please forgive me. I'll never dare to do it again. I pushed her away. When did it start? 6 months ago. She lowered her head. You were always away on business trips back then, and I felt so lonely. Cheng, he was very good to me, always keeping me company, talking with me. And then... So it's my fault? I stood up, looking down at her. Who do you think I worked so hard for? Wasn't it all to give you a better life? No, it's not your fault. She wiped her tears. It's all my fault. It's because I wasn't content. Cheng, he can't compare to you at all. You really can't. I truly know I was wrong. Please, just give me one more chance, okay? I walked to the window, gazing out at the night beyond. Do you know what hurts me the most? She didn't speak, only sobbed. What hurts the most? I turned back to face her. Is that after sleeping with him, you could come back and share tender moments with me as if nothing had happened, acting like it was all perfectly normal. Your acting skills are truly superb, so good that I didn't suspect a thing. No, I didn't. With him. Enough. I cut her off, pulling a stack of papers from my pocket. This is the divorce agreement. Take a look, see if there are any issues. No, she screamed hysterically. I don't want a divorce. Husband, please, I beg you, forgive me. I really know I was wrong. I can take a lie detector test for you. I swear I'll never see Cheng Yi again, ever. Please, just give me one more chance. Watching her tear-streaked face, my heart felt not a flicker of emotion. Wan, do you know? I had planned to treat you well for the rest of my life, to spoil you like my little princess. But why did you have to do this to me? Husband. Don't call me husband. I interrupted. From now on, we are strangers. No. She threw herself forward, wrapping her arms around my waist. I don't want to divorce you. I really know I was wrong. You can hit me, curse me, whatever you want, just don't leave me. I pried her hands away. This agreement is very generous to you. 10% of the assets, enough for you to live comfortably. Just sign it. I don't want money. I just want you. She knelt on the floor. Husband, I'll do anything you ask. Please don't abandon me. I crouched down, looking at her tear-ruined face. Do you know what I dreamed about last night? She shook her head, sobbing. I dreamed of the first time we met. You were like an angel then, so beautiful and pure. But now, I stood up. In my eyes, you're lower than the most despicable filth. Don't say that about me. She broke down, crying hysterically. I really know I was wrong. I can change, I really can change. Please give me a chance, okay? Just one chance. I picked up the divorce agreement from the table. Civil Affairs Bureau, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. No, she lunged, trying to snatch the papers. You can't do this to me. I dodged her grasp. Suwan, I gave you chances. You were the one who didn't cherish them. You brought all of this upon yourself. With that, I turned and went upstairs, locking myself in the study. Her cries and the sound of things smashing downstairs reached my ears, but I turned a deaf ear. The woman I once loved most now filled me with disgust. That feeling was even more painful than the betrayal itself. I opened my laptop and began deleting every photo and video related to her. Including those Douyin videos with highlight counts, I deleted them one by one. Just then my phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. Mr. Lin, this is Cheng Yi. Can we talk? Holding the phone, I heard Cheng Yi's voice, and a surge of fury rushed straight to my head. What is there to talk about? I said coldly. Mr. Lin, things aren't what you think. His voice remained gentle. Between Wan and me. Shut up. I cut him off. You have no right to call her Wan. All right, I apologize. He paused. But Suwan truly loves you. It was all my fault. I lost my mind for a moment, but nothing actually happened between us. I sneered, Dr. Cheng, you piece of scum. Why pretend to be a gentleman? The photos are right in front of you, and you still want to argue. Those photos do look intimate, but I assure you, we really didn't. Enough. I gritted my teeth. You two are a perfect match, one better at acting than the other. Now get out of my life. Never appear before me again, or I can't guarantee what I'll do. With that, I hung up and slammed the phone onto the desk. Outside, Suwan was still crying. I opened my laptop and started working. I needed to keep myself busy to stop thinking about these nauseating things. At 3 in the morning, it finally quieted down outside. I walked out of the study and saw Suwan curled up asleep on the living room sofa. Tear tracks still stained her face. She looked so heartbreakingly fragile. But in my eyes, it was all an act. Wasn't feigning pity her greatest skill? I went upstairs, grabbed a blanket, and tossed it onto her from a distance. Though I hated her, I couldn't bring myself to watch her freeze. Perhaps this was my weakness. The next morning, I woke up very early. In truth, I hadn't slept at all, just lay in bed waiting for dawn. Suwon was already awake, busy in the kitchen. The aroma wafted in, my favorite 3 delicacies noodles. I went downstairs and saw the dining table laden with dishes I loved. She stood there, her eyes swollen like walnuts. "Hubby, could you eat something before we go to the Civil Affairs Bureau?" I didn't even glance at the food, heading straight for the door. "Pack your things. See you at the Civil Affairs Bureau at 9. "Hubby," she chased after me. "Won't you even have one last breakfast with me?" I stopped. "Suwon, stop acting. Your tears don't work on me." "I'm not acting," she sobbed. "I truly regret it. Can you give me one more chance? I'll listen to everything you say." I turned around. "All right then. Let me ask you, how many times did you sleep with Cheng? Her face turned deathly pale instantly. I didn't. Still lying even now." I sneered. "You truly disgust me." With that, I slammed the door and left. In the car, I sent Changyi a text. "You'd better not show up at the Civil Affairs Bureau, or I'll beat you every time I see you." At exactly 9 o'clock, I arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau. Suwon was already waiting there. She had changed into a white dress, the one I liked the most. "Why are you wearing this dress?" I frowned. "Because you said I look best in a white dress," she murmured. I ignored her and walked straight into the bureau. The divorce process was quick. The staff asked if we were divorcing voluntarily. I said yes. Suwon remained silent for a long time before nodding. When the seal was stamped, her hand trembled violently, tears dripping onto the divorce certificate. "All right," I stood up. "From now on, we are strangers. Deal with the things in the house yourself. I won't be going back." "Wait." She grabbed the corner of my shirt. "Can you give me one day? Let me pack, I'll move out. You keep the house." I shook off her hand. "No need. I've already rented a place outside." The moment I walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, I heard her wailing behind me. Without looking back, I got into the car and drove to the nearest hotel. That day, I shut myself in the hotel room, numbing myself with work. Suwon's texts and missed calls kept coming, but I ignored them all. It wasn't until evening that a new message popped up. "I've moved out. The house is yours again. I know you hate me right now, but please believe me, I really do love you." I looked at the message and suddenly laughed. Love me? If this was called love, then there was no true love left in the world. I returned home. The house was a mess, shattered things everywhere. Our wedding photo was torn to shreds, scattered all over the floor. After a day of cleaning, the house finally looked normal again. But without her things, without her presence, it suddenly felt vast and empty. That evening, I sat on the sofa drinking, looking at the date on the wall calendar. It turned out our wedding anniversary was the day after tomorrow. I laughed again. This anniversary felt truly ironic. I went to my studio to handle some work. Just as I reached the entrance, I saw Suwon standing there. She looked haggard, but she had put on light makeup and was dressed neatly. "What are you doing here?" I asked, my face cold. Tomorrow is our wedding anniversary," she said timidly. "I wanted to treat you to a meal, just as my last wish." I looked at her. "You really don't give up, do you? Please, just one meal." Tears welled up in her eyes again. "Just for the sake of what we once had." I was silent for a moment. "Fine. Tomorrow, 12 noon, the old spot." Her eyes lit up. "Really? You agreed. However," I added, "if you dare pull any tricks, don't blame me for being harsh." "I won't, I promise." She smiled through her tears. "Then, see you tomorrow." Watching her receding figure, I took out my phone and sent a message to the private investigator. "Help me check who she has contacted these past 2 days." "Soon," the investigator replied. "She's been calling Cheng-yi constantly these past 2 days, but he hasn't picked up. Yesterday, she went to Cheng-yi's apartment, but didn't go inside." I sneered. That wretched pair, it seems they've really parted ways. Later that night, the private investigator sent another message. "Mr. Lim is. Sue just booked the restaurant for tomorrow. It's the place you had your first date." It seems she booked the entire place. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. That restaurant, it was the place where our love began. 5 years ago, I confessed my feelings to her there, and she blushed as she accepted. Back then, we were so innocent, so wonderful. But now, everything had changed. The next day at noon, I arrived at the restaurant on time. Inside, there were only Suwon and me. She had placed roses on every table, just like when I proposed. What is the meaning of this? I frowned. "I want to start over." She walked towards me. "I know you hate me right now, but please give me another chance. I can pursue you again, just like you pursued me back then." I looked at her. "You really won't give up until you hit a wall, will you?" "No, she said urgently. I truly know I was wrong. These past 2 days without you, I realized how much I love you. Cheng can't compare to you at all. Enough. I interrupted her. If you asked me here just to say this, then I'm leaving. Don't go. She grabbed my arm. Can we just have a nice meal? Think of it as a final farewell. I remained silent for a moment and sat down at the table. She personally poured me wine and served the dishes, all my favorites. But in my eyes, it all seemed so fake. Lynn and Mo, she raised her glass. To the beautiful times we once shared. I looked at her, picked up my glass, and downed it in one gulp. After dinner, I stood up to leave. Suwon suddenly knelt on the floor. Honey, I'm begging you one last time. Please give me another chance, okay? I looked at her coldly. Do you think I'm an idiot? That I believe a woman who betrayed me? I really know I was wrong. She crawled over and hugged my legs. I can swear to God, I will never betray you again in this life. You can hit me, curse me, whatever you want, just please don't leave me. I looked down at her. You know what? The way you look right now is truly pathetic. Her body stiffened for a moment, but she didn't let go. I am pathetic. I deserve it. But please forgive me. I really can't live without you. I crouched down, looking at her tear-streaked face. Then tell me, who initiated it back then? She froze. What? I asked you. Did you actively seduce Cheng, or did he hit on you? She lowered her head. It was him. He kept finding excuses to approach me, talking about work matters. Later it just... I stood up. You really know how to shift the blame? Since he initiated it, why didn't you refuse? Why didn't you tell me? I don't know either. She sobbed. Maybe it was loneliness. Maybe because he has more money than me? Because he's a chief physician? Because he's more charming? I sneered. Go on, say it. She flinched back, terrified. No, it's not like that. He really can't compare to you. I only understand that now. Too bad it's too late. I turned to leave. Don't go. She lunged forward, wrapping her arms around my waist. I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you absolutely everything. Please just give me one more chance. I turned back, looking down at her condescendingly. All right, then tell me, what exactly did you two do? Her face instantly turned deathly pale. What? Can't bring yourself to say it. I sneered. Those scenes in the photos, did you two rehearse them often? When you were lying in his bed, did you ever think of me? Don't say that. She covered her ears in pain. We really didn't have sex. We just kissed. Do you take me for a 3-year-old? I shoved her away forcefully. Suwon, you truly disgust me. With that, I turned and left. She cried out and chased after me from behind, but I got into the car without looking back. Back home, I opened my laptop and began executing my plan. As a short video blogger, I have my own network. I wanted them to pay the price. I edited the photos and videos I had collected, adding a fitting caption, "Renowned hospital chief physician's affair with a married woman." Thankfully, I found out in time. Less than an hour after the video was posted, it caused a massive uproar. The hospital quickly responded, stating they would handle the matter seriously. Cheng Yi's Weibo account was overrun by furious netizens, filled with nothing but curses. Suwon called me frantically, but I didn't answer any of her calls. Late at night, she sent a text message. Please, can you take the video down? Cheng Yi will lose his job. I replied, isn't this exactly what you wanted? To watch him lose everything for you? No, I really didn't want this. She replied quickly. Please, can you let him go? I sneered internally. What? Feeling sorry for your lover now? No, I just don't want to ruin him. Please, I'll do anything. Just take the video down, okay? I turned off my phone and switched on the TV. The news was already reporting on the incident. Cheng Yi had been suspended from the hospital pending investigation. Online comments were overwhelmingly condemning them. Cheng Yi proactively held a press conference, admitting to the affair. He claimed he had temporarily lost his mind, and that Suwon was innocent. Watching his tearful appearance on TV, I couldn't help but laugh. That scumbag. Now he knew how to play pitiful. Soon, the hospital announced Cheng Yi's dismissal. His medical license was also revoked. Overnight, he lost everything. Suwon sent another message. Are you satisfied now? He's already like this. What more do you want? I replied, this is just the beginning. In the following days, I started releasing more details online. I exposed how Suwon met Cheng Yi secretly while I was away on business trips, how she acted in front of me. Netizens were enraged, unleashing a torrent of abuse upon Suwon. Her social media accounts were bombarded, and she would be recognized and pointed at whenever she walked down the street. She texted me again. Please stop. I'm about to collapse. Looking at the phone screen, I suddenly felt a thrill of satisfaction. This was right. I wanted them to taste the pain of being hurt. That evening, Cheng Yi came looking for me. He looked much more haggard, his suit wrinkled. Mister, Lin, please, let Wan go, he said. It's my fault. If you want revenge, take it out on me. I looked at him. Dr. Cheng, no, I should call you Mr. Cheng now. Do you think you still have any right to plead for her? I know I did wrong. He lowered his head. But Wan really can't take it anymore. She gets cursed at on the street. She can't find a job. Life is already very hard for her. Oh, I sneered. Why didn't you two think about the consequences when you were having your affair? I apologize to you. He suddenly knelt down. Please let her go. Hit me, curse me, direct it all at me. Just don't make her suffer like this. I crouched down, looking at him. Mr. Cheng, you know what? The way you are right now is truly laughable. With that, I turned and walked away. Making them suffer, that was what I wanted. A week later, I received a call from the hospital. They said Sue Wan was in the emergency room. She had attempted suicide by taking pills. By the time I arrived at the hospital, she had already been revived. Lying on a hospital bed, her face was as pale as paper. Her parents were keeping vigil by her bedside. Seeing me enter, her mother rushed over, ready to strike me. You beast! Must you drive my daughter to her death? I dodged her hand. Auntie, when she did wrong, why didn't you discipline her? She trembled with rage. She made a mistake, yes, but she already knows she was wrong. You made her lose her job and ruined her reputation. What more do you want? I looked at Sue Wan on the bed. Isn't this exactly what she brought upon herself? Just then, Sue Wan woke up. Seeing me, tears streamed down her face again. Husband. Don't call me husband, I said coldly. You're no longer worthy. Please, just let me go, okay? She pleaded weakly. I truly know I was wrong. I have nothing left, not even the courage to live. I walked to the bedside. So now you feel the pain? When you betrayed me, did you ever think about this? I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong, she sobbed. I'll do anything you ask. Please just let me go, okay? I looked at her. You want me to let you go? Fine. Go find Chungy. Have him tell you everything about your affair. I want to know every single detail. Her face turned even paler. Why must you do this? What? Can't bring yourself to say it. I sneered coldly. Then continued to endure this pain. With that, I turned and left. She cried out behind me, but I turned a deaf ear. Cheng-yi came looking for me. He looked even more haggard, his eyes shot with blood. Mr. Lin, I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you it all, he said. Please, spare Wan. I motioned for him to sit and turn on my voice recorder. Speak. He recounted all the details. The first time was in the hospital duty room, later in his apartment. Sue Wan had initiated it, saying she felt lonely, felt that I didn't love her enough. Listening to this, I felt a wave of nausea. So, this was the kind of person the woman I loved most truly was. After finishing, Cheng-yi slumped back in the chair. Mr. Lin, I've told you everything. Please, spare Wan. I pressed the stop button on the recorder. All right, I promise you. He sighed in relief. Thank you. I looked at him. However, I will post this recording online. Let everyone know just how filthy you both are. His face instantly turned deathly pale. You can't do this. Why can't I? I sneered coldly. Isn't this exactly what you deserve? He suddenly stood up. You madman, are you trying to drive us to our deaths? I stared at him. When you were having your affair, did you ever once think about how I felt? With that, I posted the recording online. Instantly, the internet exploded again. Everyone condemned their shamelessness. 3 days later, Cheng-yi was dead. He committed suicide by drinking pesticide in his apartment. Before dying, he posted a status online. I am paying the price for my mistakes. Please spare Wan. Sue Wan called me, frantic like a madwoman. When I answered, all I heard were her heart-wrenching sobs. Are you satisfied now? You finally got what you wanted. He's dead. Are you happy now? I calmly replied, this is just the beginning. I received another piece of news. Sue Wan had gone to Cheng-yi's apartment, found a scalpel there, and cut her wrists. By the time I arrived at the hospital again, it was too late. She left a letter. I'm sorry. I'm in too much pain. Forgive my selfishness, but I truly can't hold on any longer. Husband, I love you. In the next life, I will definitely love you properly. After reading the letter, I tore it to shreds. Leaving the hospital, rain began to fall. I stood in the rain and suddenly laughed. This revenge was finally over. A month later, I moved to another city and started a new life. Occasionally, I still dream of Sue Wan, dream of her smile, dream of the sweetness we once shared. But upon waking, my heart remains calm. That TikTok comment from that day was right. It's enough to have possessed it once. Except, they would never have imagined that this sentence would ultimately lead to such an end. I opened my phone, deleted all photos related to Sue Wan, and deactivated all my social media accounts. It was all over.